Yo guys, what is up? My name's Josh, and today I'll be showing you the video of the Destiny 2 pre-gameplay that they showed on Game Informer. By the way, this is not my gameplay, this is Game Informer's gameplay. But anyway guys, we're gonna get straight into the video. I just want to tell you guys that I am playing Destiny 2. I get it the 6th, the day it comes out, and I will have it. So anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Go check Game Informer out as well if you like their channel. I'll leave the link in the description. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys.
I'm Ben Reeves. I'm joined by resident Destiny expert Matt Miller.
Hello, hello. How are you, Ben?
Good, doing great.
I think you're a Destiny expert too.
Yeah, I think we're both Destiny experts. Let's just both be.
Let's say we are, and that'll be how it is.
There's no reason to belabor the point, but Destiny 2 looks like a good game. Looks like a great game, I'll say.
Yeah.
I recently had an opportunity to go and play an extensive amount of it, and wanted to share some info with you because I know you'd be excited about it.
I'm a little jealous that you were free to go to this thing and that I was not able to join you. I really wanted to come with, but we couldn't make the timing work out. But you got a little early glimpse of what is pretty much the final game, the one that's going to come out on consoles on September 6th, yeah?
Yeah, I will say it felt really good. Like, it plays a lot like Destiny. I mean, we know kind of what we're getting, I think, to some degree if you're a Destiny fan, but if you're not a Destiny fan, I think there's reasons to be excited about this because it's a really good feeling shooter. And we got an opportunity to look at a new area of the game, which is called the European Dead Zone, or EDZ for short. This is the area on Earth that Destiny 2 is going to take place on, and this is a look at this. This is Devram K, who's
He's like an important NPC this time around, right?
He's an important NPC. He's a guy you can see, like, I'm actually running around the EDZ right now. Devram K is a player character, or sorry, an NPC who you run into, who has a backstory. You kind of learn a little bit about him as you play the game. He also gives you missions, which is kind of cool to like have a character on the map that you can run up to and talk to, and gives you missions, and you can turn things in and buy stuff from them. And as you can see right here, he has some cool stuff for sale.
Yeah. I mean, you're checking out one of the things about this game that I really am the most curious about, which is that they just have not shown off a lot of the open world yet. I saw a very early version of it when I got to check out the game for a feature several months ago, but was really there was really not as much there as I wanted to get a good picture of how these destinations work now. And you were playing through the EDZ destination with all of the stuff there that's going to be there at launch.
Oh yeah, you can see me running around. There's like other players
running
around here. I'm just pulling up the map to kind of look at some of the icons you can see. There's you can see here's a public event.
That is so awesome.
It's that just to have a map.
That there's a map, and that you know that there's a public event that is going to arrive at a particular place at a particular time.
Yeah.
It really encourages the different players who are in the destination at that moment to converge, right?
Yeah, no, it does. And you know when it's coming up. You can look at the map at large and be like, well, actually I want to do this event.
Right.
And if you get good enough at doing that public event and you have enough people who are high enough level, you can and you do it fast enough, it kind of like kicks into a harder version of that event called a heroic event, and you get better gear from it.
Thanks for checking in.
But what I'm doing here is there's also adventures, which are basically side missions.
Right.
They feel
but like in the world,
pretty robust. Yeah, they feel like campaign missions, honestly, because they're that long and that involved. But they are in the world itself, so you'll see other people running around while I'm doing the mission, while I'm talking to my handler, let's say.
Sure.
But yeah, these are cool. They're not necessarily connected to the campaign, so they're their own story mission stuff, and it's kind of a new like element that I think just adds more content to Destiny 2, honestly.
Sure. My sense of it was that they want adventurers to kind of tell the stories of these different destinations, right? Like you're learning more about what's happening in the EDZ. Is that fair to say? And like what's special about this location and its characters and its conflicts?
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. You learn a lot more about the world. You learn more about the history of the characters too.
Sure.
Because there's characters you interact with, like Devram,
right?
And you'll learn maybe more about him or other characters you run into. as you do these missions. But so it's really not connected to the story at all of the main Destiny 2, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It adds more content. It helps the world feel more alive.
Right. Did you find yourself referring to the map a lot during your we're just kind of taking a look at a snippet right now of the gameplay that you had on the EDZ, but
you see my platform
that was really good. Yeah. Did you find that you were looking at the map to kind of figure out where you were going a lot?
So I did actually at first.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who's played Destiny knows that you eventually learn the maps,
Sure.
you know the world as you do, but having that map at the beginning is so helpful.
I bet.
And you're like, well, of course this game should have a map. Like, it's great to have.
Well, even in the areas you're wandering through right here, it looks like the density of interior and exterior spaces and sort of vertical spaces are such that it would be pretty challenging to learn the map. I mean, maybe more so than some of the areas in Destiny 1.
Yeah, I can say that.
You know, because there's so many things that are underneath areas and that kind of thing. Tunnels that are going down below stuff.
Oh, there's a big guy.
Oh, yeah, there's a big guy.
I'll just grenade him. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the Destiny areas have always been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well designed. I think especially for Destiny 2, they're a little more labyrinth.
Yeah.
So trying to learn them without a map would be that much harder. So it's handy to have the map to reference. In general, well, here we go. I'm showing off my...
being awesome now.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Sunbreaker from the Titan class.
Right.
Because you're basically just throwing flame swords this time.
Right.
But
it's a little bit more like aerial superiority is one of the big things with them, right?
Yeah.
With the Warlocks.
And the way you upgrade, which you can't show the upgrade stuff, but
right.
There's different ways to upgrade.
I mean, there are a number of things that we're not talking about today. And part of that is that Bungie has made a very conscious choice to hold off on revealing a lot of stuff. One of the most significant is that upgrade system that they're kind of holding tight to their chests until the game actually launches.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's hard to say for sure if it's going to be something that people are excited about or not, because it's not something that...
Yeah, I don't think fans will be disappointed. If anything, like the new classes, like it was easy to upgrade and made sense, and like there seemed like just as much depth as like previous classes and loadouts. And so I really liked the new class. The Dawnblade is what it's called.
Yeah.
Is the new loadout there.
Yeah.
And then I think this is just later in the same mission.
Okay.
Where I'm like hunting these guys down, but it's kind of cool because what I just did was got a bunch of explosives.
Okay.
And I'm going to line up this trench area with all those explosives.
So this is still part of that adventure.
This is still the adventure actually, so we cut a section of it out.
Yeah.
And then we're going to like lay up all these traps, and then guys are going to come rushing down into them, and I'll blow them all up.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of fun.
I'm curious about the like, how do they reward these adventures at the end? Like, did you do enough of them to get a sense of what you're getting out of doing that, other than just kind of, oh, I'm learning a little bit more about the story?
Yeah, you get gear and experience just like you will in a normal story. We didn't play far enough into the game to see what happens when it's like in-game content, when you're like replaying stuff over and over again.
Right.
So I only played it once, but I got experience and I got new loot from it. And then obviously like earned influence with Devrim. And there's spawn areas just like there are in like main missions. So if like I die here, you'd have to like go back and respawn like normal. One of the things I did like is like finding the treasure chests throughout the world.
Yeah.
Because they're marked on the map, which you might have seen. They have that little icon, the like cross on it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that's also on the map that I found super handy were the lost sector areas.
Yeah, those are like little mini dungeons, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of explore, and they're really fun to explore. Some of them are big and some of them are small, so it really depends on the lost sector area. There's all the guys.
That was awesome.
Pretty good.
You basically just set up a minefield for them?
Yeah, set up the minefield and they walk right through like idiots. But the lost sectors are little mini dungeons like worked into the area that you can like, when you find this little icon, the little Archie icon on the map, it'll be spray painted in the world somewhere as well.
Right.
So when you see that spray painted onto the world,
you know you're like close to an entrance.
Yeah, you're really close to an entrance. And so when you go in, then it's like a whole new dungeon area. You fight a bunch of guys, and when you get to the end of that, there's a boss. So there's a higher level enemy you can take down, and he drops better stuff. Cool. So it's worth doing those lost sectors as well.
I think anybody who's played a lot of the original Destiny is familiar with the experience of kind of being in those open spaces and feeling like there just isn't as much stuff to do as one might like, right? There are these patrols, but very quickly the patrols stop being really meaningful content.
Yeah.
Right? And you sometimes need to go do a public event for one reason or another to fulfill a bounty or for some other mission you were on or something. But then you'd inevitably be looking at an external online website to find out what the probabilities are that one might show up in the particular place that you're at.
Right.
And it was just kind of like, I don't know, not that exciting. I mean, people got used to it because they wanted the rewards that came alongside doing that stuff. But it was really kind of a fundamental problem in the first game of this sort of dead space of activities when you went back into zones. And it seems like, and this is what I'm wondering whether if you feel this is true now that you've played a bunch of it. It seems like Destiny 2 aims to resolve that problem with all of these different things kind of coming together. The lost sectors, the adventures, the flashpoints, the more interesting treasure chests, the public events that you can target where you're going. Did you get that sense? I mean, you played certainly so many dozens of hours of the original game that you know what I'm talking about, right?
Right. Excuse me. Yeah, I think the world in general feels more interesting because of all this added content.
Yeah.
You know, you can like search for the chests, you can search for the lost sectors, which we talked about, even the public events. In Destiny 1, the public events eventually got to the point where they just felt unnecessary. There was not a lot of reason to dive into them. I didn't get to go super deep post-game content, like I said, but it seemed like the public events are going to have a little bit more value or retain some value further into the game,
right?
Which will be really nice. And so all these things are all very different. Like there's areas in the game where you can find things to learn more about that area. People like Devon K, obviously, who talk to you and share new information. So like things just feel a little bit more alive and active, and like spaces you want to wander around in a little bit more.
Sure.
So the EDZ obviously is a good example of that, and I like the setting too. Just the old kind of Eastern European looking setting to it.
Yeah, and the forests, and it's kind of a lush setting in a way, a lush Earth setting that's different from what Russia was with the Cosmodrome for all those years that we were running around in there. There's certainly aspects we're not going to be spoiling. I don't want you to spoil for me anything about like what's going on in the story, so we're not really going to talk about that today. But I did want to ask, as it's represented here in the EDZ stuff, just generally, what your impression of the storytelling has been. I mean, I think that a lot of people, especially the people who walked away from Destiny after the first few weeks, there were a lot of complaints about just the storytelling being lackluster and not having enough general storytelling, and the story not being as big and epic as some people wanted it to be. Which I think anybody who played the later stuff like Taken King knows that continued to get better. But what was your sense, just on a non-specific way, about what you were seeing of that here in like EDZ?
Yeah. I can't speak too much to the campaign quite yet,
Sure.
but just based on the adventures that I did and talking to Devram, stuff like that, experiencing it in the EDZ. But I think the storytelling's come a long way.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Taken King as like being the step in the right direction. I think this game will continue that trend. I think people will enjoy the story. Definitely has more. It makes sense, let's say. Like, you don't need to go online and read a bunch of cards to like make sense of what's happening. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciated that, just as like a fan of action games and fan of shooters. Like, I like to have a little bit of story to my game. So
yeah,
even the adventure that we walked through there, like you kind of get a sense for like what was happening and why I was on this mission. Mm-hmm. There's real value to it. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of a good look at Destiny. I don't know, is there anything else you want to know about?
There are
There's definitely
so
a
many
lot.
things I want to know about this game, but a lot of them at this point, I think I'm ready to wait until launch day to figure out. And I think Bungie is of the same mind. There's a lot of things that they're not talking about with this game. I think I think I can speak for a pretty broad swath of Destiny fans that there's a risk there, right? It is exciting to be going into a game where some of the fundamental core systems of progression and upgrades and, you know, other places you're going to be visiting and what's going on in the story and that kind of thing are things that we don't know. I think that's awesome. It's really thrilling, especially for a big sequel like this, to have that experience. On the other hand, by not exploring that stuff in pre-launch content or in the beta, it would be hard for Bungie to get the broad feedback that they've gotten from like what they got with their beta, right? I mean, I think they would be the first to say that all of that, playing through that opening story mission and all those hours that people poured into playing those PvP matches in the console beta that happened a few weeks ago, that gave the team a lot of stuff to think about and a lot of things that they could consider in terms of how they balance stuff and whether they wanted to make changes or whether they were happy with how stuff was. Without knowing those elements about the broader systems, like the upgrade systems, it's going to be a lot more raw experience, and I'm crossing my fingers. I mean, every one of the developers I've met at Bungie are really committed to putting out an amazingly great game.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of faith that they can do that. But it's a big risk.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have to sell this game to people who've been playing Destiny for the last 3
Right.
years. Like, you should be excited about it. It's an exciting looking game. And it makes a lot of improvements in the right directions.
Yeah.
I think people who played Destiny early on and bounced off of it, I think should give Destiny 2 a shot, because I think it's made a lot of improvements. It continues the trends that Taken King did in kind of writing the awkward leveling up structure, stuff like that,
Yep.
In a good way.
Yep.
And the flow of the story is better. The world's just a lot more vibrant and active, like you can see here. So I don't know if you were on the fence about Destiny 2. I think it's worth giving it another shot. Like, I had a lot of fun with it. I'm looking forward to the final release when it actually comes out and leveling up my character again.
You and I are going to do a lot of jetting around on our Sparrows, I think, in a few
can't
weeks
wait.
here. Yeah,
So much sparrow riding.
definitely.
Well, thanks for joining me on this look, Miller.
Yeah,
It's,
absolutely.
it's a
Thanks
lot
for
of
having
fun.
me.
And thank you all for watching. There's another video on the site, actually, if you want to watch without commentary. I explore the EDZ for about an hour and a half. And it's a more extensive look of more adventures and more lost sectors you can check out. And hopefully you'll look that over if you want to.
Very cool. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks a lot, Miller. Have a good one.
So guys, that was the video. Destiny 2 is coming to us September 6th. I am very excited myself. I don't know about you guys. If you guys are excited, let me know in the comments below. Tell me all about it. But anyway, guys, that was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I, for one, have played Destiny 1. I don't know about you guys, but I have played Destiny 1. I liked it. Destiny 2 seems to be going the step in the right direction, as they said. I do believe that. So I hope this game goes good. I really do. And I'm excited. I'm about to have it September 6th. I'm really excited for this game, man. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, please like, subscribe for more content. I will be playing Destiny 2, as I said. And by the way, I will be playing the World War II beta coming out this September 1st. I will have a video uploaded around 2 to 4 Eastern time. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And that's all I have for today. And I will see you guys next time.